stream I'm hosting. Thank you very much, Twitch. Okay. What's going on? Well, thank you. But that might be my only option, unfortunate. Whatever. It's only for like 5 minutes. Who the... Whom stood it off? God dang it, Ito. Oh, it's Thunder's Fist. That's a name I haven't seen in a while. Let's see if the connection holds at all. Oh, wow, okay. Jail. Was not Zoom game. I don't know, it's so hard if I broke that. You killing me? Why did that break? And players. A little bit of health back. Really? That was not... Why did I not finish that? Mashing. I'm mashing. I also didn't get my backdash. That's interesting. Okay, Ito. Oh. Okay. What team? No, that's not the one I'm pressed. Yeah, let's do this. Let's do this a little bit. Let's get cooked. Let's get stout on stream. I'm gonna get hit once and explode. Oh boy. That's not a combo. That's so sad. That was supposed to break the armor on that assist. That's crazy. Thanks, Spikes. I didn't get my backdash. I wanted a backdash before that. Oh. Good night, girl. That's what I would say. Bonk! Oh, you could have snapped my corpse. Oh yeah, my chair's off. Hey, no. There he goes. No, that's gross. I did not want that to hit the corpse. Yep. There it goes. I should have expected this. I thought it in the back of my head and I'm like, nah. That's A-Train. No! Oh, hi doggy. I have a doggy friend joining us this evening, I guess. Oh wow. I was expecting a forward option, not that. Oh, good night, girl. No! That's not the thing I wanted, right? A-Train, not brass. Oh god. I don't understand heavy punching up that. I didn't want that light kick. Just wanted the assist. Oh, can I go? Do you know? You could have put the corner there, couldn't you? Are you crazy? That sucks. I can't react to this. Oh, good night. Bonk, bonk, bonk. Goodbye, Parasol. was nice knowing you. Oh, stand heavy punch there for Beowulf. That drop is pain. Alright. That rollback, what? My Bale's probably getting TOD, didn't it? Well, if they drain on Dizzy. I didn't put luck. Oh. I'm not dead. You spending it? In what world did I press that 2 HP? What? I didn't. I keep barely pressing to OP too slow. I know the throw's coming, but just not fast enough. Look at this. I guess I should. Pretty sure they want to debate that. Okay, I'm gonna just... There's no way I lose off that, right? Yeah, I don't think they could do enough damage. Okay, we're already a couple minutes late. I'll do the first of 3. Smile. I'll just lose quickly, I'll get hit. Yeah, that's fair. I don't know why I'm trying to do super jump on my bigger there. That's worth a shot. I blocked! I don't get hit by that. Yeah, I get hit by that though. Eliza, you just didn't want to come off the first time I told you? Thank you, Eliza. I would like my button dash this game. Yeah. Or Parasol, whatever this character is. Just step out in the corner. Nope. Back to the corner. Okay. Let's just call that an elaborate bait. Why did that drop? You know how to punt it. Ito. Ito. Sad. Cool. I died a parry lesson going. Because I thought I timed that delayed, but I guess I didn't. Rip. I love doing incoming versus band, not in the corner. Very interactive. GG's. Why do I have caps lock on? Okay. Let's actually start. Just in case someone wants to yell at me. Okay, so the bot's back and alive. We'd love to see it. Get rid of the old link. Get rid of the old link. All right. We're starting a little bit late, but welcome to Skullgirls Get Gr8. We try and pair you up with someone around your skill level. We are playing 3 set games today. Unfortunately, I'm a little bit cooked, and so trying to take it a little easy. So 3 games today, 3 games total. No matter wins, loss, no matter the record, just 3 full games. And we'll give you live advice during. Highly recommend that you pause the stream while you're playing. Slightly improves connection, helps a little bit, and usually it's easier to play without someone telling you to do something in your ear, especially when that advice is coming like 5 to 10 seconds delayed. So, yeah, recommend pausing while you're playing. Without further ado, let's get started. We have one beginner gamer who's probably borderline intermediate, but I've yet to see them play, so we'll get them in here. And if anyone wants to take a beginner open lobby, or if you are on the lower levels of intermediate, feel free to also join. If no one volunteers in like 2 to 3 minutes, I'll hop on in and play Fukua like I talked about in the matchup chart. A matchup chart? Matchup channel. There we go. But if anyone wants to try and take it, feel free. But while we wait, can I do this? While we wait, really quickly, I'm gonna do something funny. Where's this? Can I transform fit to screen? I can do this, right? This should be working. What? There we go. Say hello to doggy. Roxy. Who's a good girl? Yes, you are. Have a little guest today. Okay. Roxy from Skullgirls, true. Okay, so if no one else is here for the open lobby, I'll run it. I will test a couple things, and see kind of where you are in general in terms of whatchamacallit. No, Josie, you are not playing in this open lobby. You could play versus HMAD, or if they wanted to mix it up, you can play versus Dovod. You are not playing in this.
We're gonna get you.
You thought it was open. No, you're good. You're good. I'm just giving you a hard time. Right, so I'm kind of going to spend the first game just getting a feel for what you're doing in neutral, just a little bit. Poke around ever so slightly. Unfortunate drop on the combo. Ultra. Okay. So a big thing to focus on is to try not to overextend on block into the things that are punishable. So we highly recommend, unless you've seen yourself getting the hit, not going past your mediums. So usually using your heavies on block is going to be just punishable on reaction. Still working out on your combo. Takes time, don't worry about it, drops are drops. Going for a lot of train call-out, but so far they've been right. I do also like how much you're already using ground throw. You are pressing... That low crushes, I forgot about that. Okay. Oh, okay. So we are not push blocking all that much. Oh wait, why did I push block that? That's unsafe on block. That's one of the things I was talking about. Where, if I don't push block that, that is also unsafe on block. I already used that. So, you almost lost the game because of that decision. So the main point about thinking about what's safe and unsafe on block, especially when you're not playing with assists, is keeping yourself from doing something that is just reactively punishable if they just see you use that on block and then press a button afterwards, and you can get hit for it, it's usually a pretty risky choice. So the heavy brass, the trains, if they whiff, that's a bit different. All of your heavies, good low parry. Okay. So the thing I am going to say is, if I stop pressing light kick and start throwing you, I'm pretty sure you're about to start. Oh, that's not the range for that, though. I'm pretty sure you're about to start getting hit a lot. Good push block. There you go. Push blocking, I would rather you get in the habit of doing it too much rather than too little early on, because doing it too little really lets certain characters just kill you on defense. It's hard to play the game when some characters are just in your face. This is not as much of a game like other anime games where you're like looking for gaps to press in between. You're kind of, that's a next level, or more often than not you are looking to just, unfortunately, oh, I did not want that TK. But now I'm jumping less, and the trains are starting to get you punished a little more. You're still pressing there. Okay. Okie doke. Pressing a lot on defense, overextending a decent bit on block. Still working on combos. That's always a never-ending process, so just yeah. Let's see how well you deal if I'm a little bit more aggressive. Back out of that. Actually, let's see how you deal with zoning. That's a hit grab. So, fortunately, your armored punches don't get hit. Okay, you're mashing during while I'm hitting you. It's a... There you go. Okay, I was about to start suggesting you might want to start thinking about parrying the projectiles a little bit, because it seems like you're at least a little comfortable with parrying. I did not expect that to hit you. I thought I did that too far. Oh, SSJ. The nice thing about solo v solo is if you spend that bar there, it straight up just won't let you. Like, if you don't need it. You can't spend the meter while they're already dead. So you don't need to worry about being super greedy. I can't get off that. Yeah. Full sending it with... Right, I needed to use kick. And that was supposed to be a train, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so... Things I am noticing. Major habits, and these are relatively common ones. So... I think the biggest one, and this is universal, it's not necessarily Fuqua specific, the biggest one is just try to work on being a little bit more aware on block in terms of when you are forcing the opponent to block. like I was talking about earlier, we highly recommend trying to get relatively consistent at hit confirming with your medium button. So usually the combo you learn on the wikis starts with a light, medium, heavy, and then you go into the rest of the combo. And so what that means in regards to like hit confirming based off your medium is autopilot through the light and the medium. And then by the time your medium has gone all the way through, you need to react to whether your opponent has blocked or gotten hit. And in either of these scenarios, you then hit confirm. You choose the appropriate response. And whether that is if you get the hit, you then press the heavy and go through with the whole combo. Or if they have blocked it, you stop, you cut it off. When you start playing with assists, you might like call your assist there. And that's getting further down the line. But like a good general habit to get into to build off of keeping yourself safe is to hit confirm on the medium. It's hard, so don't worry about don't sweat it too much, don't beat yourself up for not getting it, but that is, I think, the biggest thing to focus on for you. In regards to keeping yourself safe, big bands like armored forward moving moves are strong, but they are punishable if you are guessing incorrectly, if you're using them in the wrong spot. So using H-brass like you were, or going for the A-trains, so L through H. I don't know if you ever used M, but you used L a decent amount and you used H-train a decent amount. They are strong tools to use in neutral. Be careful about overusing them, again, for the same reason, where if you're wrong, you start eating full combos, and that's just a ton of life down the drain. So working on that risk management just a little bit more will, I think, help a lot. Second major thing is, I don't know if you have other fighting game experience. It kind of felt like you did, at least in the way we were playing, where you are pressing to challenge gaps and block strings rather than push blocking. And there is a place and time for that in Skullgirls. But a good layer 1 to keep yourself safe and to keep yourself consistently safe. First fighting game ever? Okay, interesting. To keep yourself safe and keep yourself consistently safe, instead of trying to press light kick or crouch heavy punch, instead of trying to press a button on defense and catch me in between options, I highly recommend defaulting to push block first, get your opponent farther away from you, and that lets you reset neutral rather than take a bit more of a gamble and risk getting hit or being the one getting the hit. Because the gamble, more often than not, is weighted in your opponent's favor when they're the one in control of the game. So highly recommend push blocking first, more so than pressing first. Oh, layer 1, I'm sorry, that's a fighting game top. Layer 1 is, broadly speaking, what you default to. And that goes down a lot more advanced fighting game thought process in terms of how am I changing my gameplay based on my opponent. So instead of layer 1, think of it as just, what do I default to? So I would much rather you default, you more automatically push block rather than press a button. Just as your general habit. But yeah, and then beyond that, I mean, Band Fuqua is just a rough matchup. I don't know if there was anything matchup specific necessarily that it looked like you were struggling with. I think those major things, like those two things to focus on, will help your game plan anything much more than anything matchup specific. And honestly, for the most part, instead of full sending with A-Train, I really liked when you would just walk forward patiently, jump at me patiently, and just block the projectiles coming. That got you close enough to start posing a threat. And so, again, leaning more into the risk management side of things. Yeah, play conservative. That's kind of just a band thing in general. He's got really strong tools. You need to know where to place them. Jump out. So, like, when we were playing, when I was doing just the up, back, throw a fireball, you just jumped at me and you didn't really press buttons when you weren't in ranges. So, you just weren't throwing anything out that could get errantly hit. You weren't trying to force the issue. You were just using movement and blocking to close space, which is a really good habit to already have. So that, as opposed to trying to force your way in, like I said earlier, with A-Train, or really try and catch me with a long-reaching air button like jump heavy kick. Well, long-reaching in quotes. But just playing patiently and very risk-averse in terms of using movement to get what you need rather than using buttons to get what you need. But that's, again, getting a little bit further down the line of thinking about the game at a more intermediate level. So I wouldn't stress about it too much, but thank you for asking questions. That it is very important what I'm saying actually makes sense. Because at the end of the day, this is for you to learn, and if I'm just speaking in fighting game gibberish that no one else understands, I'm not really doing my job properly. Okay, so, if you have any other questions, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, we're probably going to be moving on to the next match. Trying to get where you want without committing to options. That's a really good way of thinking about it. And just in case you're unaware, you can also, because this was kind of like a spark notes at the end. I was trying to talk throughout the set. Obviously, it wasn't. I had to think about playing at least a little bit, so my words were a little eh. But you can go to the channel, look at the videos, and see what I was saying while we were playing. Even right now, it's available through the videos. You don't have to wait for the stream to be over. You can go back and catch it. So, on that note, I think we will be moving on to these scoopers. And before I tell them to ready, was there anything? Nope, they didn't want anything to focus on. Actually, wait, I can just grab the link, I think. I'll just give them the link. Yeah. Alright, gotta go back to the actual live thing. Hello. Here we go. So we've got a solo Fuku, and I'm going to forget Zoob's team off the rip. Oh, we also had a YouTube viewer. I'm sorry, I missed you. Did not have that chat pulled up. I don't have the multi-chat. Good push block? Oh, unfortunate. Yeah, already used that. Not quite the combo route. I don't know, did you want that or did you want H-Drill? I think you need to delay that M-Cone slightly. Why did she fall out? Mix. Nice, okay. This time the air throw. What are we doing? So up back, defensive button, pressure, silver cord. So, small thing, Zoob, it's actually really good for you as a squiggly to, after corner throw, silver cord. Universally, it keeps you in a better combo stage. Very small thing about throwing people in the corner as squiggly, but food for thought. So, one thing I am noticing from you, Zoob, is while you are keeping your block strings safe in terms of just plus and minus frames, you are leaving yourself open to getting PBGC. Which as a, getting into intermediate, I'm going to start talking about this and wanting you to think about it a bit more. It is an important thing to worry about. And I would argue you probably should have killed their maid. But reset was a bit greedy. For you, Zoob, one thing to note for the Fukuo matchup, you should never be push blocking the drills themselves. All of them are... it's your turn afterwards. Fully burst. Oh, unfortunate. Oh, wow. I think if you did Thresher there, you would have. Snap for the health. Oh, Silver Cord. Silver Cords are confirmed. There's our Zoop. Also, do we have Punch Charge? Your full screen, yeah, you want to get Punch Charge and you want to use Sing as a threat for them committing to anything full screen. You need to dive kick to get that combo at that height. Yep! You needed a fireball. Super. But versus Lights, using 2 HP is really finicky and very liable to do that. You don't have IPS for this. Muted to slightly differently. Went into mix. Still not going to kill. What do you do, see? That's unfortunate. When someone has a projectile like that, guarding themselves, this is also true for assists. Using throw to beat around it is a really good option. For those of y'all who don't know, while you are in the throw animation, once your throw has hit, you are invincible. So you ignore all of the projectiles, all the assists, everything going on behind you. It's a really good way to deal with people using projectiles to cover themselves, using assists to cover themselves. And even though you're scaling yourself, you still got the hit, and that's one of the most important things for SG. Oh no, dude. You don't have OTG anymore. smash. You are on a bit on the aggressive side, Made, when it comes to using reversals. But I think it's warranted based on how Zoob's playing. Why did I jump heavy kick? Bonk. Bonk. Go into install? Yes, sir. Love to see it. You have install routing. Nice. Oh, that's so unfortunate. Also, one thing for you to consider learning, Maid of Honor, is there are ways for you to hit them with snap and then have M Shadow grip them. So you snap the character, but don't actually send the character out. You get the red health back and keep the same character point. Might be routing worth learning. Oh, predictive push block. Okay. So... I think I'll start with Zoob. I mentioned towards the start of the set that your pressure, while safe in terms of raw advantage frames, is liable to get PBTC. You are extending very far into a block string, where if someone push blocks you relatively early, they push block guard cancel, they exit block stun, and can reversal you before you've gone all the way through to reset with like a cat scratch plus your assist. So, while numbers safe, this game is a comedy and a horror, so you are not actually keeping yourself safe by committing all the way through the way you were. That I think is the biggest thing, and it was mostly apparent on the Fortune. Because your other characters don't really have as many safe on block specials. So, big thing to note, still recommend trying to not extend that far on block. Recommendation for breaking the habit, the same thing I was talking about earlier, where try and hit confirm with your mediums. So with Fortune, stand medium kick, stand medium kick, not crouch medium kick, usually gives you a ton of time to actually confirm, and it stabilizes your routing. It's kind of meh for scaling, and like not theoretically optimal, but it's really common. I use it to hit confirm for Fortune. So again, trying to stop on your medium. 2LK 5 heavy punch is good. It's harder. But if you feel confident doing it, it's a decent alternative, yes. But it is the optimal Fortune block string. My dog just left the room to go scratch herself in the hallway. Okay. But yeah, that is more often than not the best hit confirm Fortune has. I will preface it with it is a decent bit harder. So pick your poison, how much you want to sweat for it, but try to not extend too far. And the important thing about the 5 heavy punch confirm alternative is your hit confirm becomes, you can't block, obviously depending on spacing, but you can't block after they block the 5 heavy punch on block. So you need to go into L Rekka. You need to do L cat scratch, and that leaves you neutral in their face. So then it becomes a little bit of a mind game. Obviously, if you have jab, it's the fastest jab in the... You have the fastest option if you're not playing anyone who has faster than 5 frame options. So Ravenous Umbi and Bella Diamond Drop are the two things to worry about there. You are tied with Philia and Marie. I think those are the only 5 framers. In terms of how fast you can act. And so it becomes a little bit of a mind game after that point, but you are neutral. You are not punishable. You can block and kind of hold anything. Or you can try and steal your turn back. So that is the thing to note about that confirm. Beyond that, Zoob, I think you need to implement a little bit more mix into your combos and routing. You seem pretty consistent getting all the way to the full undizzy combo. The problem that's now coming up is you're doing the full combo and it's not quite killing. You didn't recognize you needed probably another touch, and so this is kind of the beginning of intermediate, getting into the game where it's like, okay, it's time to start really focusing on, I've got my hit, do I know if I have enough damage to kill, or do I need to reset here? And if I need to reset here, I want to reset, like very broadly speaking, a third to 2/3 through the combo. It depends from character, it depends what types of routes you're doing, where your mix actually gets set up, but you don't want to be mixing while their Endizzy is full. You want to be mixing sometime in the middle, around where your scaling starts maxing out for your combos. So, a thing to start thinking about, thing to focus on. I think those are the two major things for you, Zoob. For Maid, again, you were a bit reversal heavy. How Zoob was playing it was warranted. You weren't getting punished for it, so you had no reason to stop doing it. Just want to make sure you're aware, and that's an active choice rather than an autopilot. But that's a very minor thing. The pain part about playing Fuqua is you really liked going for air throw resets. The problem with air throw resets is it doesn't confirm into another combo, and so you're doing an air throw reset into... you're doing an air throw reset that's forcing you to mix them again anyway. So it might be worth trying to work on a couple other mix options as well. I noticed you're playing mostly Shadowless, so unironically, the one I'd recommend right off rip is straight up just do launcher, slightly delay your jump medium kick, and the delay of the jump medium kick determines the rest of the mix. But launcher, slight delay, jump medium kick, and then just press jump medium kick on the way down. And depending on where you press the first jump medium kick, you get same side or cross up. It's a very solid basic mix. It has a decent amount of counterplay, but it's a really good early layer. Once you start getting more into shadows, you can do a lot more, and you can still do a lot more with Shadowless, but if you're going to default to one mix, I'd honestly recommend that one over your air throw stuff. Also, very easy to do for Fuqua that you should probably throw in a little bit more. Just intentionally drop the combo, especially if it's like after a 2 medium punch. Literally just do 2 medium punch, press nothing else after, time a low throw or command throw for when they're landing. Very simple, very effective. Just do that a little bit more as well. Outside of that, I think you are resetting a little bit too much. There are arguments to be made for being greedy and keeping meter, but in your case, I would argue you should be killing characters more than you are. You're getting a little bit too greedy, giving them a couple too many chances to live. So if you have the kill, especially because you're playing solo, more often than not you do, really ask yourself, what does this extra bar save me if I'm saving it by mixing one more time here? Because more often than not, you kind of just want to get them down to their anchor, and then you're playing solo v solo with a major advantage in terms of health ratio and damage ratio. And so that's kind of the thought process there. I brought up briefly, but might want to try and learn the snap into M Shadow combo to snap the point, get the red health, and then keep the point in so you don't have to deal with incoming after the snap. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but I'm sure you could ping a ton of different Fuquas and they'd be able to tell you what that route is. JP, obviously, is the first one that comes to mind on the server. But yeah, it's a thing. It's really useful for Fuqua. Was there anything else? I kind of want to recommend you go into Replay Takeover for these matches and notice where your PBGC windows were. Like I was warning Zoob, they were giving you a lot of opportunities to do it and you weren't necessarily taking it. On your side, get a little bit more used to looking for it. And this is a really good set to look at where you flash green and ask yourself, can I just H drill here? More often than not in this set, the answer was yes. So kind of go into replay takeover, look at a couple of the block strings, look at where you push blocked and when you flash green, take control after you push blocked and just like full send the drill and kind of get more of a feel for like, oh, this isn't a thing. They can't do this to me. It's a very, very important concept for defense, where if you know your opponent's overextending and they don't expect you to be able to act because they think you're in block stun, you will start cooking people. I'm not going to say do drill as often as you can, but it's a pattern recognition thing where I know what they're doing is fake, and so I'm going to apply the solution to punish their fake pressure. And this comes with a lot of situational recognition, and that's why I recommend you go into replay takeover and just like, while you're not playing the game, look at it, see where you're flashing green, and understand I could drill here. If I drill here, will it work? And the best part about replay takeover is you can go in and drill there and see if it works. So it's not a band-aid fix-all solution. It's a start recognizing the situation a bit more, use it in your games more. There's definitely counterplay to it, but you don't even necessarily need to worry about that. Just learn the applications. Start practicing using PBGC more, because that's very strong. It is a core defensive mechanic. Yeah, just make it an option. Exactly. 100%. Okay, you get it. So when you're trying to PBGC punish, basically, jab works really well if you're giving yourself a significant gap. So, for example, if you're playing versus a Parasol who's doing like jab, medium kicks, and then they're going into 4 heavy kick, there's a big gap in between the medium kick and 4 heavy kick. So if your PBGC takes you out while the 4 heavy kick is coming down, that's a gap where you can just jab. And so that becomes a lot of intuition. That's very much I've been in this situation before, or I feel like there's a gap here, I'm going to try and press. Whereas if someone's doing something like the block strings you were doing, Zoob, where it's a lot of relatively consistent hits, it's like jab, jab, stand medium kick, stand heavy kick, cat scratch, there aren't as many gaps in there, so it's a lot harder to fit a jab without getting stuffed before it comes out. And in those cases, it's more often a lot better to choose an invincible option that you can't get stuffed out of. And so it's all about recognizing, can I get away with pressing in a gap, or am I going to get hit? If I'm going to get hit, I choose the invulnerable option. If I'm not going to get hit, I choose the jab. And oftentimes, as well, in situations where the jab would win, the reversal also wins. It's just the riskier option, where the jab can like actively take your turn back, because more often than not, it's plus in this game. So even if you don't get the punish and they block it, all of a sudden it's your turn, you kind of stole your turn. Whereas if you reversaled there, depending on your character, you're just outright punished. So it's you get down that rabbit hole, and so that's kind of getting further down the weeds into mind games and getting into advanced thought processes about the game. But that's kind of the introduction to thinking about which options to choose for PBGC. Okay, I think that's most of what I wanted to say to the both of yous. So the point about scaling I made for resets is there's no necessarily best time to do it, but you want to get as much as you can out of your first hit. So if you're doing a reset after like 5 hits, you probably could have gotten more damage out of that combo. And so it's just kind of one of those things where you want to maximize front-loading damage at the first hit, but still give yourself enough undizzy to get a decent chunk of damage out of the second bit of the combo. And so that's why the most common reset points are kind of like around 1/3 to 1/2 undizzy, sometimes pushing it to 2/3 undizzy, because that's usually around the point where your scaling's maxed out, but when you reset, you'll still have a decent amount of undizzy to work with for the next hit. The main thing I want you to avoid right now is constantly looping resets at max undizzy. Looping resets at max undizzy, if you are unaware, hitting anyone while their undizzy bar is full immediately scales your combo, I think, straight up to 50%. It's at least 70%, but I'm pretty sure you immediately get scaled to 50%. So that's why you don't want to loop your resets at max undizzy if you have a choice. Because you're just gutting your damage. So resetting before you get to that point, above all else, is the most important thing for y'all to focus on right now. You can get really into the weeds about... you don't necessarily need to back off, but you can hold your ground. You can also still keep mixing them, because obviously damage is damage. But just keep in mind you're doing less. So if you have resets that drain more undizzy, and again, that's getting into advanced thought process. But yeah, that's getting pretty into the weeds. Also, I didn't know. So for Dovad, Tsuki, and HMed, how did y'all want to do this? Did we want to swap up who's... Burst baits can drain undizzy. There are situations where they don't. But burst baits are good to implement for your mix. I think I've been yapping a lot, so I'm going to try and move on to HMed. You're good with the open lobby. Is... Make Suki fight P, fair enough. Okay. Well, I was going to ask if you wanted to play Josie. I don't know if they were still around looking for an open lobby. I know they're also a really solid gamer, so I don't know if you'd want to take that match, because it might be a little bit rough. They're also a P player, which is also pain Pecco. So the choice is up to you, HMed. Who you want in your open lobby, or if you want me to just like... take the first come, first serve. Or if you want, you can ask for me. Might not be able to give the most advice in the moment, but I'll try and talk a lot afterwards. Yeah, okay, let's play. Any specific team you want to play against, HMed? Parapoint? Okay. Can do. And you're focusing on playing patient and reactively. So, yeah, I'll do things, and then I'll tell you, especially on the Parasol side, which things you can just say no to, like, that I'm not allowed to do. That is not the Parapoint team. This is the team I wanted. Okay. Is your round start? Nice. Yep. Just kind of doing that to see if you'd arm me. That is the right response. Kill me. Right, that gets early hitbox. Good job protecting your system. We'll stick with Parasol. We gotta work on that neutral jump. Air dash have it, gamer. Holding your ground. Really good low. Taking my approach. You in your rowdy queen. Rowdy? Routing queen. Don't need to D it. Oh, didn't believe. Okay. Unfortunate. Recognizing I'm not push blocking. Good throw. Mix. Lily's full. You gotta respect that. Right. That can happen. Once again, jump, delayed air dash, staying on the ground. Thank you. Good throw. Okay, you're mixing up your games. I will not be as upset about the up back air dash. You're doing a lot of other things, so it's like a valid change to pace. No, I got one punished. Good medium punch. Kill me. I could have texted her. Oh, that's awkward. I didn't get my fire though. Gamer. Gamer, we're doing it again. Fingers. That doesn't work. Wow, I hit same side. Okay. When did I use that for APS? Whatever. You should have died there. You go. But yeah. So be careful about that jumping habit. I know it's Bella and it's scary. But you up back to like 3 times in a row. To the point where I just like I'm gonna excel at you. I really like that idea. You were just a little too slow, but that was what you want to be doing. One thing you definitely can be doing that Ruby likes to do a lot in this matchup, good arm, or chair, that Ruby likes to do in this matchup is play neutral a little bit more patiently. Just use, good punish. Just use A-Train to come in, block a shot, get yourself a taunt. I don't know if there's much Para can do for it. Sev told me a punish that I labbed and didn't seem to work. So it's just kind of like one of those things where... Oh, you have these? That's unfortunate. Differing weights is hard. How do you play this control? That's usually not a range that's great to arm for, at least in my experience. That's... oops. Be careful about those, crescents, by the way. I should have BFF'd you for that. When you're playing versus Fukua, Eliza, Squiggly, be very careful about this. Because, like... Why did I do this? That looks so gross. Be very careful about those uncrescents. Or any of those crescents where it's not a true block string into them. Because I can be a Fuffy for it. I was just slow. Also, when it comes to playing reactively, most... Good arm. most Fuqua block strings into clone, there's a gap. You can mash there, and obviously if you have hit stop, there's nothing she can do about it. So, in terms of playing that matchup reactively, 100% do that. Bonk, bonk. Kill me. I'm not dead. Oh, crap, I'm dead now. Fair enough. Good choice. Bonk. Good throw. Really? Wait, was that my end? Because it looked like the stream jittered for a little bit, but then it said HMED was the one not connecting. Weird. Weird, what? I don't know whose fault that was, it's not like it matters. Yeah, just turn it back. Very weird, very weird, very weird. Yeah, okay, it looks like it was on me. I have fiber, this isn't supposed to be a thing. Grrr. Good patience. So like me doing that, two medium punch. Oh, whoops. Two medium punch and L shot is not a real boxing. Unless they force you to block the tier. Pretty sure. Oh, that sucks. So this, you can stinger all of that. You don't gotta hold that. Do I have these? No, I think the range is too far. Yeah. Oh, I needed to do heavy punch. Yeah, be very careful about approaching from me like that. Good BBGC. I didn't get my fireball. Throw, catching me down back in. That's not bad. Okay. Yeah, it... So... I think when it comes to playing the way you want to play, it just starts becoming very much a... I don't know if I want to say knowledge check, but you got to be very aware of interactions. So when people are doing stuff that looks really scary in your face, you just need to very quickly recognize no. And so especially if they're doing it repeatedly, all of a sudden go, oh, they're crutching on this. Start punishing them for it. And so, like I was mentioning earlier, if I'm doing 2 medium punch L shot, it's not a true block string unless the 2 medium punch detonates the L shot. And I was doing it a lot of ways that it wasn't actually detonating the L shot. So it's like, you can arm me, you can Annie Stinger me, I think you can even SSJ me. So it's like you have all of those options. You can definitely brass me, or I think Beat Extends trades favorably doing that in the corner. So it's like, that is for Para. Understanding what she can and can't do, when she can and can't cheat L shots out. When it comes to Fuqua, it's very much the am I cheating clones out in your face sort of deal. Am I just doing kind of fake stagger pressure? Am I doing real stagger pressure? That whole shebang. When it comes to Sarabella, it's kind of like playing around the ranges. And so I'm very much fishing for a max range to medium, or not to medium kick, to light kick, and then trying to play around your respecting that with a diamond, or not diamond drop, Mary Gorilla. And so it's like if I'm at that range, I'm very consistently pressing something, and so it's kind of just like the habit recognition. That's they've been doing this every single time here. I have no reason to believe they're not going to do it again. I'm a full send it. And so I think one of the things I would recommend you do is unironically just ask a lot of your friends who play, knowing your options. And so the thing I kind of want to recommend you do specifically for this is just talk with a lot of gamers who play different characters. Ask them what Beowulfs do, so oftentimes what Ruby does, that they really hate dealing with. It could also be like the PSN Beowulf, so like what does Scene do? What does Idante do? What does Nezo do? That's like, God, this is annoying. And start implementing those options. And so one thing I will say, for as not great as Beowulf throwing his chair away is, on the Para side of the matchup, it's really annoying to try and zone when you always have to deal with the threat of Armored Sweep. Armored Sweep cooks me. And I'm not gonna lie, it does to a lot of other Parasols. I got like bullied a little bit in some games versus, I think I ran into, I want to say it was Idante, and I like kept getting hit by the chairless sweep, and I'm like, man, this is annoying. Then I played the Bayo team and I was playing versus a Parasol. I'm like, wait, that guy was doing this to me. I hated dealing with it. I started doing it to them. They hated dealing with it. And so it's very much ask other Bayos what they find works, or ask the opponents what they hate dealing with. And if it's something they hate dealing with, oftentimes it's probably something good to be doing. And it's a bit more of a studious way to play the game. You can also just go into replay takeover, but the gameplay you're trying to emulate, how are you supposed to deal with people jumping at you without the chair? One, you have Airwolf. Two, you just tech roll away, because if it whiffs, you can tech roll away pretty quickly. That's been my experience, at least. Obviously, there's risk to it, so it's very much, again, paying attention to your opponent's habits. What tools do I have that check things here? But this kind of goes into our other discussions about a tool being risky doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad tool. They still have a time and a place. You just need to weigh that risk reward. And right now, I think you might be eliminating too many options. So yeah, try and use it a bit more, not just in the hard zoning matchups. Use it versus double. Use it versus Para. The people who zone on the ground, at least. Obviously, versus Fuqua and Valentine is probably not going to be anywhere near as good. But yeah. Other than that, I mean, offense as always is good. You know the deal. I kind of want to encourage you to call Knuckle less from full screen. Because I feel like it wasn't being put under that much pressure. And so if you want a body to block for you at full screen, I'd much rather you actually call A-Train. Because it's not going to go all the way to your opponent to where they can start hitting it more. And that once you get mid-range where you can start really pressuring behind your assist, that's when you should start calling Knuckle a little bit more. But you were doing it full screen, and I was kind of just not under threat and able to give them a little love tap, put them on cooldown, jockey for space. I think those were the biggest things. There's probably more, but I had to focus on Plague You. So you know the drill. If you have other questions, by all means, ask away. If they come up while you're watching, you know the deal. Just ping me. I'll get to it in some way, shape, or form. Let's get Dovad here. Appreciate your patience, Tsukiyomi. I know I'm a yapper. That's part of the reason why I put it to 3 games, because I talk a lot about this game. But yeah, I mean, y'all know the deal. I really want to make sure I get my point across in a coherent manner. Alright, we're in. Dovad not playing the captain. Okay. So Dovad wanted me to focus on assist usage and PB habits. Suki is just here to kill. Bonk. Do that. They won't kill. Mix. I don't know how often you do this, Dovad, or if you didn't have your double jump, but mix like that for characters with a double jump, it's a really good habit to start just kind of autopilot double jumping out of. Because then you only really need to deal with air throw, and you can wait for that good saw. Hit the corner. Interesting. Okay. Oh, we have the routes. Unfortunate. I think that's a good push block. PBGC. Oh, I think you had the PBGC punish. I think you could have actually pressed. If you don't get the punish, it's at the very least your turn there, Dovad. That's a thing to start trying to look to recognize. And Tsuki, that's a very big thing to pay attention to when you're doing those DHCs, the safe DHCs. Try and time it so they, like, pay attention to their push blocks, essentially. Because safe DHCs all of a sudden become not safe if you DHC at the wrong time. Oh, what the... That was... Snap the corpse? No. Okay. I feel like I would have rather you tried to kill the Bella and then snap the corpse. Yep. No, just medium kick that. Okay. Yeah, don't spend it all. I agree. Oh, that would have been a great beat extend. I think, I'm assuming your input just got a beat extend or SSJ. That was the right time to mash. I might have just gotten a little oopsie-daisied. And a big risk to be taking there, Tsuki. Pressuring while your assist is still in assist recovery like that could have just cost you that game. That is how bans rob you. And ironically, almost every time there I'm trying to bait a reversal. Because, eesh. Eesh. Losing games like that feels painful. So always be aware of that. Oh, you don't gotta jump there, Suki. I would have really liked an air throw there. Because even if they tech it, the item drop goes away. Throw them! I think you just gotta use throw a little bit more, Suki. You'd be surprised. Overcommitted. Good defense, Dovad. I'm liking everything I'm seeing in terms of push block so far. Suki, we gotta not push block those bombs. That is not a good spot to do that. Like, almost always, you're going to want to avoid push blocking the peacock projectiles. Unless you're fishing for a PBGC gap somewhere. If that was just a dash block, like a button dash, getting converted into PB, I understand. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Dovad, you're running yourself to the corner a little bit, but at least for now, that's fine. But I'm... Yeah. Oh god. Dang it. Oh, I'm still in. Thank you. Okay. Reflector, fingers, fingers, fingers! Peacock's not really allowed to do that to you. Oh, we're just bailing out. Fingers! Tsuki, a big thing you need to learn how to do. Fingers! Nice! You can reflect that assist call as well. A big thing you need to learn how to do is take ground while not overcommitting. And that, mostly in Bella's case, is just going to be not dash jumping. Because if you commit to a dash jump, you're not catching the peacock teleporting out. Stay on the ground. Staying on the ground in general is usually the better option versus P until her projectiles force you into the air. And so Dovad, you're kind of getting away with murder with these teleports, not getting super punished for running yourself into the corner. Oh, it's your turn. You chicken blocked that beautifully. You could have pressed. You might have even gotten a punish there. Yeah. Attack forward. Yes. Snap. Get it back in. Fair enough. Oh, Argus! Thank you, Argus and Keller there. Keep zoning. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, and I know that was a drop, but in general, Tsuki, when you knock them down in the corner, and it's not like a sliding knockdown, you're not forcing neutral getup. Don't overextend expecting them to autopilot back tech. Dovad is cooking you, teching forwards, and you're overcommitting forwards. So sit there and sit at back tech distance, or forward tech distance. If they forward tech, you get to left right them and meaty them. If they back tech, you get to tech chase and just dash at them and then kind of play the game from there. Bunk, bunk, bunk. Checkmate. I think that was a true block string. If it wasn't Car there, Suki, obviously it resets neutral, and then you're probably playing versus Robo or Peacock, but it's like it's hard. The game at that point. The game got to that point because you were really struggling to deal with the P-beam. So, for your team, Parasol Emigret does a really, really good job blocking the zoning and those assists. Even if you take an item drop, you're honestly fine with that because the item drop has very limited hit stun and you can just go forward afterwards. Robo Fingers deals with a lot of what they were doing. And you can also use it on the beam assist. It then tags the beam assist, staggers it, clears all the projectiles the Peacock is setting up behind it. It's a really pretty solid tool for dealing with that assist. Double's a bit harder. Gun is good, but obviously like the assist kind of body block it, make it harder to use. Heavy Punch, again, is another even harder tool to use, but if you get the time to punch her, even if it trades, you send her into a sliding knockdown, you take a little bit of chip, and then you're an advantage from there. But the biggest thing for Yusuke is over-committing trying to chase them into the corner. Whether it be they got hit by your bomber assist and you just played like you expected them to autopilot tech backwards. They teched forwards, you overcommitted forwards. They were long gone behind you with a full screen to run away again. But this is also true for when they're zoning. Their backs to the wall, and you're kind of at a mid-screen. You can't really dash jump at them in that specific instance. It gives them that free teleport out. There's almost no character who can recover from doing that besides maybe the air dashers who can like bait it out and then air backdash really quickly and try and catch them with a weird hitbox sort of deal. You have to be in a position where you can respond to that, and staying grounded and having access to all of your movement is usually the way to do that. If you are afraid about them doing like a teleport along with the wall of projectiles, unironically, one of the best ways to deal with that, not even counting assists, is to dash block into it, have it hit you earlier, so you recover earlier, and you more oftentimes, at least it's your turn, if not get an outright punish depending on how late they teleported. When you start adding assists into that game plan, you can call the assist to body block, which then lets you just be there waiting for the teleport, and if they don't teleport, your assist cleared the projectiles, you dash in afterwards and pressure from there. So you need to force it, but you can't do it by hard committing. It needs to be a little bit more patient. Give yourself the options to still deal with all of their options. Because if you overcommit, exactly what happened those last two games happens, where Dovad's just like, oh, I teleport out. They're flying 5 million miles an hour into the corner, and there's nothing they can do about me teleporting out. So that was the big thing. For Dovad, what was I saying the first game? Because I know I had things to say. First and foremost, you were getting, like I was talking with Suki, obviously you weren't getting punished for it, so you could keep doing it. But those teleports, if they just didn't dash jump, you were getting counter hit. I understand most of it was callouts, so fair enough. They gave you the window, you took it. But find other ways to get out of the corner as well. I think the biggest thing, even while you were zoning, I'll get to that a little bit later, Tsuki, because I want to keep the train of thought going for Dovad. While you were zoning, you gave a ton of space. And while you weren't getting punished for it, the amount of times you ran corner to corner to corner to corner to corner, like, I want you to start holding your ground a little bit more. Or at least picking times to bail out of the corner that aren't, well, not bail out of the corner, but steal the screen back when you aren't in the corner already, when it's not your final option. And so that's where you can start implementing more of the M item run forward, trying to take space aggressively that way. I was talking with, who was I talking with this about? Loxic on Thursday, where if you're mid-screen and you force them to block a projectile, you can then call your assist and try and like run up and pressure with that assist. Your projectiles force them to block, which then force them to respect your assist, which then forces them to respect your pressure. And if your pressure doesn't work, if you don't get the hit, you can then back off and continue zoning. Obviously, there's risk-reward to all of this, but you can be a little bit more aggressive. You don't need to constantly run away. Peacock is not helpless point blank. Especially her mid-range is honestly really good. Because you have all the bombs to frame trap, you can do bomb and then teleport backwards. I don't think you need to run away as much as you are. Beyond that, I can't give you more specifics, unfortunately, because I'm not like the best at the peacock. But there's that. Game 1, we had the incident where... Oh, incident. the situation where I think you could have PBGC'd and punished a bad DHC timing. And so that's kind of just being aware of your PBGC punishes. And that kind of goes into the push block things. Outside of that, again, reiterating on the assist call point, where I think you can run a bit more of an offense once you force them to block a projectile, if you're close enough to give that pressure. Or it's like they've gotten through the first set of zoning, they get tagged by an item drop, and they're like hunkered down mid-screen, and you have a bomb coming in, and it's like, okay, I can use an assist to create pressure, to create offense that's safe. And I think that's really strong for Peacock. Transition the zoning into offense. If you get the hit, take it. If you don't, back off. But that also kind of leans into the holding your ground a bit more. Besides that, I think this is getting into higher level zoning, but some of the places where you were calling beam, it's kind of just like... This is a lot more matchup specific. Where you're calling beam, Parasol can emi-grid it really easily, like I was trying to tell Suki. That's one of the reasons why I personally don't have P-beam as high on my, like, I hate you list as P-brass or P-bomber, because emi-grid does a really good job of absorbing that pressure. As I was saying again, versus Bella, it's iffy because beam can just get reflected. It can get fingered. And then it puts your assist on a pretty long cooldown. Double is probably really oppressive. But it might be worth, depending on matchup, and also depending on situation and depending on what your opponent's doing. Because again, Suki wasn't showing you the answers, so you didn't need to consider it. Adding that into your thought process for which assist do I call, when do I call it, that whole shebang. And then beyond that, H-gun versus Bella, I don't think is a thing because of Reflector. I think Reflector just cooks you. So be very careful about that. H-gun is a very matchup-specific tool that's used more in some than others. And I don't know the intricacies of it, I'm not going to lie. That would be a Triv Brothers question. That would be a Swift Fox Dash question, because Swift Fox, I think, uses that the best out of anyone I've played against. Or at least they use it differently and it catches me off guard, but that's what I gotta say. So that being said, I think those were my biggest things I wanted to say. So I'll wrap around to Suki's question. Obviously, Dovad, if you have other questions, let me know as well. So you kind of already know my default response to that, Suki, where I don't think any team's really a bad team. You have to try really hard to make a bad team. But if you want to go into the weeds, I think that team is quite strong. You can make the argument it's not as great because Bella's a weak character, yada yada yada. Bella has really strong assists. You can do a lot of things with that team. That team is really flexible. You have a safe DHC. I think that team's really good. Like, Fortune does well with honestly any amount of support. You could run that team a ton of different ways. You could run it Clyde Copter, you could run it Bomber Copter, you could run it Bomber Lock and Load. Like, the world is your oyster. You can play that team exactly how you want it to. Very strong, very flexible, good chunk of damage, good DHC synergy. It's got a lot of things going for it. That being said, if you're thinking about using that to counter pick specifically like zoning teams, I don't think your problems are necessarily character specific. I think you will run into the same issues on Fortune as you do with Parasol, because you are playing against Peacock in like a fundamentally risky way. And by that I mean how you're using your movement. Just not respecting the opportunity to tech out of the corner, to teleport out of the corner. That will still happen on Fortune. You might get through the zoning easier, and that might get you more hits in that regard, but you're still going to run into the same wall of, how do I jail this character in the corner? Because that's just consistent across the cast, no matter who you're playing. So, by all means, if you want to use that to counterpick, do it. But understand you'll still be focusing on the same problems no matter which team you're picking. Because it is a gameplay issue, not a character issue. Okay. So, that's all the games we have for today. I think that's all the questions we have for today, so speak now or forever hold your peace. Otherwise, I'll be wrapping up and figuring out who to throw y'all to. I'm assuming Daimyo is on tonight, but I'm not sure. Oh, no, it's not. Okay. Is there anyone up? DreamHack Atlanta's going on right now. Interesting. Don't think I knew that. Kind of don't like P versus Fortune. Yeah, that's fair. It's weird, especially because her air dash is so lanky. She's like, she does the stanky leg and it just gets tagged by item drop. I 100% understand that. Yeah. No. Okay, I read a little bit too far into it, Suki. Ignore that last bit. Liking playing multiple characters. Yeah, I agree. I spent my whole time learning this game, Suki, having people telling me Para versus P is a bad matchup. And while it's not Parasol favored, I think Parasol deals with Peacock better than a lot of the cast. She has really good ways to shoot the gap versus that character. And her super jump height being higher than the rest of the cast also kind of helps in certain situations. It's an interesting matchup. I enjoy playing it. It feels like a puzzle. It's a very satisfying puzzle to solve, especially playing solo. It doesn't feel like there's limited counterplay. It feels like a lot of things are in my control, but I need to be the one to respond properly. I need to figure out how to get that way versus Robo, though. Robo, I'm struggling a bit more recently. That matchup's annoying. But yeah, okay, I'm rambling. Doesn't look like there's any questions. I guess I'll just throw y'all at Koala. Don't think I see any more English SG streams. So, I'll get the video going. Have a good night, gamers. Take care.
And my spectator.
That's okay.
Oh, nice! Ooh!
Oh, we avoided
Let's go.
it. Nice.
Oh, let me see it.
Hey,
Finish the combo?
you finished this. They died.
That's somewhat of a combo,
Nice.
yeah.
Hey, they're dead.
We're missing a few more parts to it, but
Yeah.
We got Bombination.
It's like we have some bombas, but like our knowledge of the mechanics of the game are not exactly there just yet.